Let me go ahead, sir.
Well, there has been quite a large number of articles written about the current situation of those Benin artifacts. There was an article written by a journalist called Guy Chezan in the German Politics paper in Berlin, dated the 19th of May 2023. So it is quite a recent article. Now, what appeared in that article did raise the issues that my colleague, the first speaker, just raised. Germany had assumed that ownership of the bronzes would rest with the Nigerian government. At the National Commission for Museums and Monuments, that they call the NCMM. But in a decree issued in March, the outgoing President Muhammadu Buhari said they would be entrusted to the Oba of Benin Kingdom. Now, that decree identified the Oba Gatokbe, as the original owner and custodian of the culture, heritage, and tradition of the people of Benin Kingdom, and granted him, the Oba Gatokbe, ownership of all repatriated artifacts to the exclusion of any other person or people and or institutions. So the Oba of Benin had the absolute and sovereign right over these repatriated artifacts. Now, the German government said it was a matter for the Nigerians. Now, I would quote the statement made by Christopher Burger, spokesman for the German Foreign Ministry, said in Germany, and he stated that Germany had no say in the object's fate once they were returned, adding the restitution was unconditional. Now, this is the statement of a German Foreign Affairs spokesman saying that the return of these repatriated artifacts was unconditional. He went further to say where the returned bronzes will be legally held and how they will be made accessible to the people of Nigeria, those are things for the sovereign state of Nigeria to decide, he said. But the problem that the German institution or the German political institution are having in respect of the return is the opposition party. Now, there is a lady, one of the opposition party members, I think that person's name is Dorothy Barr. She is an MP for the conservative CDU/CSU. Now, she maintained the position that the pieces will vanish into the private possession of a Nigerian king, and that this was a public good that Germany was doing to right the wrong of the effects of their activities during the period of colonialism. But that the fact that the destination of these artifacts is now going to end with the Oba of Benin, thus to some extent encroaches on the public good that Germany was trying to implement or to carry on. Now, the question that stemmed from this, and I haven't read the article, what was going on in my mind and what still burdens my mind is the question, does Nigeria as a sovereign state have the right to decide where these objects are held? If the answer is yes, then what is the controversy? I don't understand what the controversy is. Now, as many commentators have indicated, now these artifacts were looted and from my previous comments, stolen, if I may use an aggressive word, from the palace of the Oba of Benin during the lootage of 1897. The United Kingdom of Great Benin Empire was a sovereign state when these artifacts were looted. The Oba of Benin was the sovereign monarch in charge of that kingdom when these artifacts were looted. Now, the Oba of Benin commissioned the production of these artifacts, paid for the productions of these artifacts, not the Nigeria state as it is today, post-independent. Not the Nigerian state as it is today. So we must respect the status quo. Now, the principle of restitution or the legal doctrine that underpins restitution provides that the original owner must be identified And this is where I support the decree that President Muhammadu Buhari passed in March, that the original owner must be identified and brought to the original position as if this incident of 1897 never transpired in the first place. So I wonder whether the German authorities are just seizing this as an opportunity to jump on a bandwagon that is unnecessary. I do appreciate that the German government has spent, I'm aware, about 5 million euros that was transferred to our current Governor Obaseki, for the building of this museum called Emua. But that has now been overtaken by the fact that the Buhari administration has now deemed to pass a decree. Now, my position is whether, Tinubu is there, whether this happened, obviously this happened during the period that Buhari was in power, is irrelevant and immaterial. The Nigerian state had passed a decree and entrusted the ownership and custody of these artifacts to the Oba of Benin. Now, the German governments are not in a position to dictate where these artifacts should then go thereafter, insofar as the Nigerian Federation has acknowledged that the original owners of these artifacts is the Oba of Benin. That is an unquestionable legal, moral, social, ethical standpoint. That the Nigeria is a sovereign nation, just like Germany. And we're no longer in the period of colonialism, of slavery. They have no jurisdiction whatsoever to interfere with the return of those artifacts, to dictate where Nigerians decide to send those artifacts to. My position is that the position adopted by President Muhammadu Buhari should be upheld, not only by this administration, by any subsequent administration, and that the government of that state, of Edo State, should respect the position of the federal government, and that these artifacts, so that they should collaborate. There should be some collaboration between the state government, the Oba of Benin Palace, and of course the federal government have made their position very clear. So I don't understand. I find it very difficult to comprehend the position of the German authorities. It's as if they're seeking any opportunity whatsoever not to return those artifacts, which is quite worrying.